Hey everyone, welcome back to 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏𝗏. I hope you guys are doing good and staying safe. So I am back with another amazing video, and this one is going to be different but very important for everyone who are preparing for the good product based companies, and specifically for the data role like data engineering, data science or data analyst type of role. So today I will be talking about two very important interview rounds. First is the bar raiser and second is the hiring manager round, and these two interview rounds are complete deciding factor for your selection and rejection. Hiring manager round is very common among the companies, but this bar raiser interview round is something which is really popular in the good product based companies, including FAANG, Uber, Atlassian, Salesforce and these kind of wonderful companies. And why I am creating this video, because in last couple of months I have received a lot of queries from the job seekers who are going to interview at the Amazon, Microsoft, Google kind of companies. And since I have already worked at Amazon, so definitely I know this fundamental of this bar raiser and hiring manager rounds, and that is why they keep on asking me that how to crack the bar raiser round, how to crack the hiring manager round. Can you give some idea what is the detail, what will be the expectation in this round? So I thought to create a dedicated video like the bar raiser and hiring manager round at Amazon for the data engineering, data science and the data analyst kind of roles. And before jumping on to our main agenda, if you already like the topic and the theme of this interview video, make sure to give a like quickly. And after watching this complete video, let me know in the comment section whether you understood this important of bar raiser and hiring manager round clearly, and you have understood everything about it, and you are really confident to crack the companies. So put it in the comment section, and also let me know in the comment section if you want to know more thing about the interview process. If you have any specific preference, let me know in the comment section. I will create one more video. And again, if you are new to my channel, then please make sure to hit the subscribe button and press the notification icon. So I will give you an overview about this whole thing in 3 steps. First, I will talk about the leadership principles at Amazon. Second, the bar raiser round, and third, the hiring manager round. So first, let me talk about a very important fact. What we think technical rounds are the most difficult rounds in any of the interview process to crack, and behavioral rounds or bar raiser hiring manager is something which is really easy. So guys, you are in complete myth if you are thinking the same, because what I have personally feel in my experience, cracking the behavioral and this bar raiser or hiring manager round is kind of tough than the technical rounds, because technical part is something which is your core skill and you have prepared well for it, so you can definitely perform well there and you can crack it. But this behavioral or hiring manager or bar raiser kind of rounds, they are completely spontaneous. There is no as such course for it, there is no YouTube videos for it where somebody can teach you that how you need to perform in the behavioral round or anything, because those situation and questions will be very hypothetical and you need to act in such perspective. So that's why I'm telling you these two rounds are never easy to crack, but if you'll follow the tips which I'll be sharing with you in couple of minutes, definitely you will be able to. So first, let's talk about the leadership principles at Amazon. What is that and what is the impact of those leadership principles in your interview process? So whenever you will receive the interview call or the interview mails from the Amazon side, so what will happen in your email, they will always attach one PDF file which will have almost 14 to 16 leadership principle, and if that is not available, you can easily find it over the Google. So what is the actual importance of these leadership principles? So as I talked about the good product based companies including tech giants, so in these companies, they always look forward to hire a great talent, and they are not only looking for those people who are just technically good but not into the leadership qualities. Along with your technical skills, they will try to judge you on those kind of leadership principle, and based on your attitude, behavior, confidence and your past experience, interviewers will be able to figure out what all leadership principles you are actually following. So before your interviews at Amazon like companies, make sure you have gone through with those leadership principles and don't try to mug up them, try to understand them and try to check where you fit in. And you also need to make sure that your answers are somehow revolving around those leadership principles. So I'll give you a very small example of a basic leadership principle, which is like customer obsession. So in your any kind of hypothetical question or anything, let's say that interviewer asked and related it to your past experiences where he or she is trying to know how obsessed you are for your customers. So you need to talk about those situations which you have faced in your past or in your current company, where in your projects and in your deliverables you followed this customer obsession kind of leadership principle. And there is one really amazing announcement for all the aspiring engineers who want to work with the world's most famous company, and that is Amazon. But the question is, who will made it possible for you? And that is GeeksForGeeks Job-A-Thon partnered with Amazon. So yes, with the help of this amazing hiring challenge, you can get hired by Amazon for 3 amazing profiles. First is SDET, Software Engineering in Test, where 2+ years is actually required. Second, SDE1, where 1+ years of experience required. Third is SDE2, where 3+ years of experience is required. And the cherry on the cake is that the registration for this hiring challenge is completely free, 0 rupees. And last time this hiring challenge was conducted on 5th of July. So anyone who has missed that opportunity, now this is the second time it is getting conducted for 5th of August. So best time for you, don't miss this opportunity this time. And also I will provide this link in the video description, and there will be registration link as well, which you can use to register yourself for this challenge. And this is the main registration page of this hiring challenge. You can pause the screen again, and link will be in the description. You can read all the details and you can register yourself here, but I will quickly walk you through with the important details. First, the timings and the date. It will start from 5th of August 8 p.m. till 10 p.m. and most important part, after the completion of the hiring challenge, there will be tutorials available. And the most amazing part is that 𝗗𝗂𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 aka Striver will be there. So this man needs no introduction. So this is the best opportunity. So this hiring challenge is basically for all those candidates who are looking for the job opportunities. Here are the instructions for the contest. It will be in 2 parts. 3 DSA questions, 100 marks, 10 MCQ on design, 20 marks. And here you can see this is the important part, the negative marking as well, 5% penalty will be there. And the coding part you can do in C++, Java, Python. And here are the main important guidelines are mentioned related to the plagiarism, cheating or any kind of the misconduct. So make sure you read these instructions very carefully because it is very much important. So what you guys are waiting for? Opportunity is knocking your door. I have provided the registration link in the description. Register yourself as soon as possible and fulfill your dream to work with Amazon. So now let's talk about the bar-raiser round and why it is very much important. So the basic idea behind the bar-raiser round is to check your maximum potential. And who will take this bar-raiser round? This is also very interesting to know. So in any of the company, there is a eligibility criteria to be a candidate who can take this bar-raiser round. And for that, they will need a very experienced guy who have taken more than 200+ interviews, and only that guy will be taking your bar-raiser interview round. And one more interesting fact, this bar-raiser guy is not the part of the actual team who is hiring you. This is also very interesting fact to know and to understand the mentality behind the interview process, because sometimes the team which is hiring you can be biased towards you, like whatever, let's say, average performance you have done. So as I said, these companies want to hire the best talent, so they don't want to go ahead with the biased decision. That's why they bring someone from the external and different team as a bar raiser, so that he or she can judge you in a very ad hoc manner. But this is the whole idea. Now you can understand the value of bar raiser, and you will understand the value more, because what happens once your interview process is complete in these Amazon kind of companies, after that what will happen, all those people who have taken your interviews, including the hiring manager, they will sit together with the bar raiser and all those people who taken your interviews, and then a debriefing session will happen. So in this debriefing session, every interviewer will provide the feedback for you, like whatever are your positive sides or negative sides, and will give you the score. And let's say there were in total 5-6 rounds, and 1 round was taken care by the bar raiser, and those 5 different people who took your interview and were part of the hiring team, and they say that yes, we want to hire this candidate. But let's say bar raiser felt that no, according to him or her, you are not the right candidate for the company. And if the bar raiser says that no, this candidate is not matching the bar of our hiring process, that means you are going to be rejected. Now the question is, what will be asked in this bar raiser round? So again, as I said, there is no fixed pattern for the bar raiser round as well, because the bar raiser who is a part of external team, he or she will try to judge you in a very ad hoc situation. He'll definitely go through with your past experience and resume. But in my experience so far for different RAISER interview rounds, what I have seen, they will be focusing on your past experience and past projects. For sure, they will ask questions around it, and they can also ask a technical questions. Technical question again can be related to anything. If I take example of the data engineering, they might ask you the SQL question. And mostly I have seen they will focus on the design question. So they can ask you something related to real-time or batch data pipelines, or let's say very interesting framework you have worked on. So he or she might be interested to know more about it and can ask architecture and optimization related questions around that. So these 2-3 things you can actually expect in this RAISER round. And again, I'm repeating this part. Make sure whatever answer you are giving in this RAISER round and hiring manager round, make sure your answers are somehow revolving around those leadership principles. Now let's talk about another very important thing for everyone. This is very much important for the company itself, and this round is very much important for the candidate itself, and that is the hiring manager round. So for the hiring manager round, I will definitely give you the complete idea what will happen, what kind of hypothetical questions will be asked with the example. So for this round, make sure you have gone through with those leadership principles. And first, why this round is very much important for the company? Because hiring manager will try to check your team fitment, whether you are a good fit for our team or not, and how you behave, what is your particular nature, and he or she will definitely try to check your past experience, because the hiring manager needs to take a lot of decision based on your experiences. I will talk about that thing one by one, and how it is very much important for the candidate as well, because this is the best time for you. I have been saying this thing to the people because they get confused multiple times when they have the counter offers. They have offers from multiple companies. They are not able to decide in which company they should actually go. So I would say this is the round which is the golden opportunity for you. You can ask any kind of question to the hiring manager, and that will give you the very good idea about the team. You can ask this kind of questions like, what is this team doing, and for which role you are actually hiring, what will be the expectation in my day-to-day activities, what kind of tech stack you are following, what kind of projects we are building, what is the growth opportunity, what is the work-life balance, everything. These kind of questions you can ask, and that is the main reason to have this round as well, so that you can also get to know more about that particular job role. So again, the question is what will be asked in the hiring manager rounds. In hiring manager round, you shouldn't expect anything very too much technical, because they will try to completely judge you on the behavioral aspect. But sometimes there can be 5-10% technical element as well, but mostly it will be complete hypothetical situation based. So you need to be ready for that as well. I will give you the secret tips how you can do that. So now let me explain all those important points which hiring manager can touch upon in this interview round. So first can be related to your past projects, your past experience with the past companies, and your experiences with the managers. These kind of things in a very hypothetical situation he can ask, because hiring manager want to understand your past experiences, and that is very much important. And I can honestly tell you that this thing actually happened with me. So when I was making my third switch, so obviously in my resume I definitely mention about those frequent switches, and that is the point where hiring manager focused on that. What was the purpose, like what was the actual reason you moved from that organization to this particular organization, how was your relationship with the manager, how was your relationship with the colleagues. So all these things will be asked. So you needed to make sure that you are able to convince, you are able to justify your answers, because if you are not able to convince the hiring manager, so he will also have that kind of doubt that if you can leave a company in 1 year and 1.5 years, so after working in my company as well, like you will leave this position in just 1.5 years. So he or she will have that kind of concern. So you need to put all those valid reasons if you had any good experience and bad experience in your past. If it is related to company switch, make sure what was the actual reason. Be honest and be truthful to yourself and to the hiring manager as well, and that's how you will be able to gain the trust and you will be able to convince them. Just be honest and tell every experience you had. There is no need that you need to hide anything. Make sure you are delivering the truth, and also sometimes be little bit diplomatic. There is no need to do the bad mouthing about your manager and your past companies, because that is something which will create a negative impact. Just try to convey your thoughts in a simpler words, in a very polite manner, that what was the actual reason. But please make sure you are not doing any kind of bad mouthing, else it will decrease your chances to get hired. So what is the best possible way to tackle this section of hiring manager interview? And the secret sauce is, before appearing in the interview of these kind of companies, make sure you are giving time to recall your past. Just try to memorize all those things, whatever has happened to you so far in your life and in your professional journey in your different companies. Just take a time, right? Spend some time alone and try to recall all those memories. It can be anything. What was the most challenging part of your professional journey in any of the company? In which company your learnings were really good? In which company you worked on a really good tech stack? What kind of projects you did there? So whatever you can recall, just try to memorize all those things. Just try to get all those thoughts so that you can prepare your stories for these kind of questions beforehand. As I said, you need to have that story ready beforehand so that you can incorporate those leadership principle thoughts as well in your answers. And that is only possible if you are ready beforehand, because as soon as the hiring manager asks you the question and that moment you are trying to think and just taking 1 or 2 minutes to answer the thing, that means hiring manager will get the idea. These are the situation which you have not faced practically, but you are trying to put a fake story in front of me. And now the second part which can happen in the hiring manager interviews, that is more like understanding your past experience, the core technical past experience, and what kind of projects you worked on. So the questions would be like, what kind of project you worked on, and try to explain the most interesting and most challenging project you have worked on. So make sure before your interviews you have already prepared about that best project, because this is a very common question in hiring manager round, and it will definitely come, that explain the best project you have worked on so far. You need to provide the complete in and out of the whole project. You need to talk about your contribution, because they want to know that how you contributed in this project and what kind of benefit that project had with the help of your contribution. What were the more important challenges, what kind of tech stack you use, what was the architecture, how you could have optimized it more, and what was the data scale, and many other cool things about the entire project part. So make sure you have prepared these things before your interview so that you can confidently answer all those things. And sometimes even the hiring manager can provide some input constraint from his side, and he will ask you that if I put this kind of constraint in your project, how will you solve it? So for all these things you have to be ready, and obviously beforehand, and you can do it. The secret sauce to crack this section of the hiring manager round is to prepare your project thoroughly. Don't mention any fake project in your resume. For the project you are really confident and where you have contributed in the best manner, try to mention those projects in the resume only. And now talking about the third and very important section of the hiring manager interview round, that is the behavioral questions. So these are the questions which are completely hypothetical and situation based. Please make sure in your answers you are including the aspects of leadership principles. So the very common example, let's say there are 2 members working in a team, you and there is another guy, both are working in a similar project, and your manager given you a task that we are going to start with a new project and you both need to come up with a design, and let's say you worked on it and after that you presented your architecture idea. So how you will actually convince the folks, even your manager and that particular guy, because your other colleague also have an alternative architecture approach. So how you will prove that your architecture is the best, and how will you deal with the situation where you and that colleague had a conflict on particular statement and a particular piece of the architecture? How will you resolve those kind of conflicts? And these things are very important to ask, because in that way hiring manager will get to know how positively you can handle these kind of conflicting situations, and also your convincing power, because when you will move ahead in the ladder, you need to take those responsibilities where you are presenting everything to the external audience and the leadership. So your convincing power should be also come into the picture, that how will you do that. Next example of hypothetical question, like let's say your manager assigned a task to you, and that was a very very important project, and you guys decided some timelines for that, and everything was going well, and because of some reasons, some technical challenges or some unforeseen circumstances in your project, you are not able to deliver the project on time. So in this situation, how you will communicate all these kind of things to your manager, how you will communicate about the delay time in the projects to your external vendors and customers, because as I said, as soon as you will move into the ladder, you will be owning the projects and you need to drive it end to end. So you are the responsible for its delivery, you are responsible for the all kind of communication. So definitely hiring manager will try to check whether you are a good communicator or not, and you can take the responsibilities, you are not afraid of it, and even something happens with the project, so on time you are able to communicate the things to the managers, leadership and the customers, so that everybody is on the same page and there is no communication gap as well. And another good example of hypothetical question is, let's say you were working for a startup, right, and there was a CTO, and because of any reason that CTO is no longer working with the company, and let's say he has been fired or whatever reason it is, and now you are the one who has been randomly picked for the CTO position. So as a CTO, what kind of things you will try to change from the organization perspective and from the employee perspective? Being a CTO, what all things you will try to fix in the organization? I must say this is a very very amazing hypothetical situation, because you need to give both of the answers. If you are the organization, what kind of mindset you will have? If you are an employee, what kind of mindset you will be having, and what kind of concerns you have with the organization, and whether you will be able to fix it if you become a part of the leadership or not. And that is the growth trajectory if you are working in a company, and definitely slowly and gradually you will move on to those leadership roles where you need to act like this. So that is why these are the hypothetical situations which will help the hiring manager to understand more about your behavior, confidence, your positive attitude, your mindset and your team fitment, how good you are with the team, whether you can collaborate, your collaborative nature, everything this hiring manager will get to understand with these kind of hypothetical situation. The secret tip is just be honest. Be honest is the secret tip to crack this particular interview round. Be honest and positive mindset, always trying to answer things in a positive direction. Don't do any sort of bad mouthing, don't put any kind of answer which is not justifiable, and also be diplomatic about your answers so that you can incorporate leadership principle related qualities as well. So that's what about this video. I'm pretty sure this would have been really helpful for the entire audience who are preparing for Amazon and Google and Microsoft kind of companies. And if you find it informative, make sure to like this video in big numbers so that this information can reach to all aspiring job seekers. And also, if you are new to the channel, then make sure to hit the subscribe button and press the notification icon. And if you have any kind of doubt related to interview processes of any of the company, put it in the comment section. I will definitely resolve it. And I will see you guys in the next week with another amazing video. Till then, just stay safe, stay home, take care of yourself and your family too.